man, let me want to tell you something. I was confident going into last week with these picks. I was so high and mighty, ready to go with these picks, so bold and dead set on these game picks. And then you go 0-4. Then it crushes your confidence. Then you realize, hey, you know what you need to do now? Everybody listening to these NFL episodes on beautiful Thursday afternoons like this one, here's what you need to do. If I pick somebody, maybe it's time to go the opposite. It's at least for this year. It may be time to go for the opposite, especially with the way I've been picking these Pigskin Frenzy NFL games. But hey, who knows? Let's see if we change things up, and let's see if things go our way today. Welcome to Pigskin Frenzy on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Joel Norris. And whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, listening on Podbean, listening on Spotify, listening on Apple, a big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some NFL coverage presented by me. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you got to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X, Instagram, and Facebook, just type in Pigskin Frenzy. Follow like the pages there. You're going to get episode updates. You're going to get news and highlights from across college and NFL football. You're going to get trivia questions on Instagram stories. Go and answer today's NFL question as well as all things up to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, just check out the website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. There you will find all things up to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Home and About Me page. Learn more about me as your podcast host. There's a contact info down below, name, question, email, all that. Comment. Leave your comment down below. I will comment on it on the show or after the show if need be. There's also the platforms page. All the platforms I just mentioned, go and click on your favorite platform, and you can go to that page to see what's your favorite listening style of Pigskin Frenzy, as well as our affiliations page with the Beard Club, our proud partner of the show. If you want a great shave, guys, I have a stubble kind of growing back close to my face, but I really like it. But if I need to grow my beard out with a grooming kit or growthing kit, I'm going to need to use the Beard Club because it is amazing. Significant others of your male counterpart, listen up. You're not going to want to miss this, what we got going on with the Beard Club here. These grooming kits are amazing. Beard Balm, Beard Oil, beard and face wash, boar bristle brush, combs, razors. There's also 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. There's also body wash. There's also loofahs and more at the Beard Club. Just go to my website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. Click on the affiliations page, click on the Beard Club logo, and it will take you to the site. You can also go to my link tree. It's at the description of this YouTube video down below. Click on the link tree there. You can also click on my X bio, my Instagram bio, my Facebook bio, and you can click on the link tree there, and you will go to the Beard Club link. From there, goes to the website there. Unlock your special deal, 25% off right now, 25% off with the code Early Bird. Early Bird holiday sale going on at the Beard Club right now. 25% off with code Early Bird, EARLYBIRD, Early Bird. Holiday sale going on right now. That's the code, 25% off at the Beard Club. Beard Club, proud partner of Pigskin Frenzy. Is what's going to help our grooming needs and facial hair needs be met. Thank you to our proud partner at the Beard Club for everything you do for the podcast. NFL Day today. I got thumped with my pen just a minute ago. NFL Day today. We're ready to rock and roll. We got our notes. A lot has been happening in the NFL, including some big news out of Las Vegas, and we're going to get to that. We are so going to get to that on this awesome Thursday. We are so ready for that. I'm so excited. We're going to recap Week 4. Loaded show here. 0-4 in my picks, of course. Why not? Because, why not? Like I said, to start the show off, if you want to do something, if you want to just say, hey, he's picking the Lions, let me pick the Bears this week. You might as well do that. 0-4. In college is fine, but I'm not having the best of luck with NFL so far. So hopefully we can change that this week with the Week 5 slate of games coming up here. People are on the bye too, so we're just going to have to see about everything. Let's do our Week 4 recap because I'm excited about these games. Got all games wrong, but we're going to go over it. We're going to go over everything. Let's kick it off. And let's kick it off with the Saints at Falcons. Saints at Falcons. Here we go. I said the Saints were going to win this game. I was wrong. Final score of this game was Falcons 26, Saints 24. 2-point game. Here's what happened. When you have a kicker like Young-Ho Koo kicking a 58-yard field goal for the win and nailing it, then it's pretty much, dead set on just being wrong there. Solid special teams work from the Falcons. The Falcons played with poise. They played with confidence, trying to rebound back from that Sunday Night Football loss from the Chiefs, and they did quite well against the Saints. The Saints scored quick, but the Falcons ended up with the win by getting down the field and some mistakes by the New Orleans Saints late. Let's talk about the Falcons. And let me go on and tell you something. Didn't do the best on the ground, but passing they sure did. 227 yards through the air, not bad. They did not win on third down a lot, but here's the kicker out of this. The 2 turnovers proved to be costly for the New Orleans Saints. They turned the ball over twice. The Falcons capitalized on those turnovers, and just capitalized and got some wins off of that and got some scores off of that. They only had 1 turnover the whole game. They were physical on the line of scrimmage. They did not run the ball to the near effect that I thought that they needed to, but the Falcons got the win nonetheless. It wasn't pretty by no means, but the Falcons are starting to come along, starting to come into their own, and they look like they are more poised and more ready for other games. Tonight can prove it. Tonight they got the Bucs tonight in some more NFC South division play here, but that's going to be a tough game tonight. So let's see what they do. It's at the Falcons. So let's see. It's a home game for Atlanta again. We're going to see what happens tonight on Prime. But the penalties were one thing that I would clean up. They got to clean up those penalties. 9 penalties was for 76 yards in this game. It's going to be proven costly again if they keep committing so many penalties and playing undisciplined football. If they don't play with better discipline, it's going to cost them some more football games, and we don't want that, right? We don't want Kirk Chains to have to go through the trouble of losing ball games. So 9 penalties, 76 yards. Got to clean that up. You got to get better on third down. You got to run the ball better to the effect of efficient running with Bijan. You got to get better at that. And if you get better at those 3 things, it's recipes for wins. And it's going to cook up more wins if you're the Atlanta Falcons. That's really all I got on Atlanta Falcons, but they're hungry. They looked hungrier in that game. They looked a lot better, a lot more poised, and a lot more ready to bounce back from that win. Let's see how they play tonight on Thursday Night Football against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's really all I got on the Falcons. Final score was 26-24. Falcons defeated the Saints. Let's talk about the Saints before we move on to the other 3 football games. Let's talk about the Saints and what they did. I think the Saints played really, really good. I think the 2 turnovers were proven costly. I do think that here's my deal. Time of possession was great. They kept the ball for 35 total minutes, outgained the Falcons to their 24 minutes of time of possession. So they kept the ball and held on to the ball a lot more. So they were slow and methodical on some drives, which is good because they're going to need to do that when they play some other offenses in the National Football League this season. They got the Chiefs coming up Monday. We're going to talk about that game later as well. So, but to keep teams off the field, they got to have a better time of possession. I think in the last little bit of it, they scored too quick. I think they scored really, really fast. Their defense wasn't prepared on the last drive of Kirk Cousins, and Younghoe Koo kicked that game-winning field goal. 2 turnovers were proven to be costly. They were sort of efficient on third down, which was pretty good. I don't think the Saints played a bad game. The Falcons kind of capitalized on those 2 turnovers. I think the turnovers are what made this game. A fumble and a pick thrown by Derek Carr is what kind of cost them a little bit in this game. Yards per play, 5.2 yards per play. They had 131 rushing yards on the ground. Passing yards, 234 passing yards. They outgained the Falcons in total yards, 366 to their 315. They didn't play a bad football game. They just scored too quick late, and the defense did not show up late to stop the game-winning field goal of Younghoe Koo. That's really all it is. I think that's what happened for the Saints, and it was a back-and-forth affair, but in the end, the Falcons just capitalized late and got down the field late. Penalties, 6 penalties, 60 yards, not the best of looks at the end there. A costly penalty at the end cost them this game. So just mental errors like that for the New Orleans Saints. If they can just clean those mental errors up, and they just can clean those small things up, they can bounce back and get some more wins throughout the season. So final score of this game was 26-24. Falcons defeat the Saints. That's really all I got about this game. Falcons play the Bucs tonight. We're going to cover that one on Prime, Thursday Night Football, 8:15 Eastern, 7:15 Central kick on Prime, Amazon Prime. If you got a Prime subscription, tune into that one. NFC South Divisional play play going to be really good there. The Falcons have the the Saints have the Chiefs in Arrowhead coming up Monday on ESPN. On Monday night. So that's the latest on those are the latest on that. Let's go to the Eagles and Bucks game and let's talk about that one. Very interesting game there. Of course, like I said, 0-4. Let me just remind you for the 500th time, I was wrong about this game as well. Final score of this game was Bucks 33, Eagles 16. I said the Eagles were going to win. Bucks ended up winning at home 33-16, dominating on the field. Dominating play on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball by the Bucks. They played really, really good. They won the time of possession battle, which I said that they needed to. They needed to keep the Eagles off the field, and they really did. 36 minutes and 17 seconds compared to their 23 minutes and 43 seconds. Really good time of possession play by the Bucks. They played really, really good. They protected the football. They only allowed 2 sacks. They protected Baker Mayfield better. Yards per play, 6.0 compared to their 4.1. They were very efficient on third down, winning on third down. Penalties were minimal at 3. 20 yards total. They really, really did good in this game. Passing the football, 334 yards. They had 111 yards on the ground rushing. Had more total yards, 445 compared to their 227. The Eagles just couldn't get anything going. And I think the Eagles were just hurt, and we're going to get to the Eagles in a minute. But let me go on and tell you something. Baker Mayfield is an absolute animal. He is an absolute animal. Well played by Baker Mayfield. He had 347 yards, 2 touchdowns, 30 for 47. So he was pretty efficient on the day. Bucky Irving, the rookie out of Oregon, running the ball efficiently as well. 49 yards, 1 touchdown. Rachaad White had 49 yards with 0 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield had a rushing touchdown as well with 10 yards on the ground. 3 total touchdowns for Baker Mayfield. Played really, really good. Mike Evans, 94 yards with a touchdown. Chris Godwin got in on the action with 69 yards. Kay Otten had 52 yards. I mean, they literally look good. Trey Palmer had 26 yards and a touchdown. They really look good, on the ground. Turnovers were costly for the Eagles. The defense played really well on that. They had 2 fumbles. They picked up 2 fumbles. That defense was all over Jalen Hurts. The Eagles allowed 6 sacks, and they got to Jalen Hurts 6 times. It was a really, really good game on both sides of the ball for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it's really, really motivating for them going into tonight's game against the Falcons on an edge like that, especially with a nice bounce-back win after losing that bad to the Broncos at home. They really needed that. They really, really did. The Baker Mayfield had an impressive game. He's showing out some key wins on the year, like the Lions, the Eagles are going to come a long way, especially late in the season. So if you're a Bucs fan, you have to be pleased. You really do. You have to be pleased with the way your team's playing right now. I'm pleased with the way they're playing. They're moving the ball well. They're playing well on the line of scrimmage. They were protecting Baker Mayfield this game and this go-around. They protected the football. They're winning the time of possession battle. They're keeping everybody else off the field and just draining clock, and they're doing it and playing smart football. And I think that's what the key is for the Buccaneers. They're just playing some smart football right now, and they're playing protective and smart football, but they're also on the attack mode and playing aggressive and playing with an edge, and I like that about Baker Mayfield's team and the Buccaneers. So final score was 33-16. The Buccaneers defeat the Eagles and played really, really well in this game. Let's talk about the Eagles really quick before we talk about the other 2 games. Boy, oh boy. Injuries were kind of efficient and kind of a thing for this game right here for the Eagles. Let's talk about this game really quick. Let's discuss it and dive deep into it. No Devontae Smith. No A.J. Brown. Hamstring for A.J. Brown. He's been out for a few weeks. Devontae Smith out with a concussion. He didn't play either. The 2 best receivers on the team, not there. Jalen Hurts had barely anybody to throw to but Saquon. And the sacks were not pretty as well. The O-line could not protect him. The defensive line was all over Jalen Hurts, and it led to 2 fumbles as well. The fumbles on the ground were rough. 2 fumbles recovered by the Bucs. 6 sacks allowed. They were efficient on third down, which was good, but they just couldn't get anything going moving the ball down the field, especially without the help of their 2 receivers. It's statistically proven. If you want to look at the stats, go and look it up. I don't really have them pulled up right now, but it's statistically proven that without Brown, without Smith, Jalen Hurts doesn't play to the best of his abilities, right? He doesn't play all out. And I think missing them is kind of what hurt them a little bit. Dallas Goedert, they had Dallas Goedert, but the key ingredients weren't there for that offense. They were kind of limited on play calling, and they didn't know what else to do. So this is the game that they really needed their two receivers there for, and they couldn't play. They were unable to play due to injury. So I think getting beat up on the offense was tough. I think the defense couldn't really find a way to slow down Baker Mayfield in this offense. I think Bucky Irving ran the ball efficiently. I think Rashad White ran the ball efficiently. I think through the air, they couldn't stop Baker as much. They really couldn't man up on Mike Evans and Chris Godwin a lot. And I think the defense was having trouble slowing down the offense. They really did have trouble on stopping the Bucs on third down. And they couldn't win those third down battles with Baker Mayfield in the offense. And I think that was really, really tough for them in this go round. I think injuries, having trouble stopping them on third down, and the two turnovers and allowing those sacks were really, really tough for the Eagles to overcome. So they were really beat up, and they really just did not have a lot of the key ingredients to help them run efficiently on offense, and especially didn't really have, couldn't really stop them on third down a lot necessary to win the ball game. So final score, Buccaneers 33, Eagles 16. The Eagles coming up have a bye week. They do not play anybody, so a much-needed bye week to get everybody back and rested and well and healthy. The Bucs have the Falcons tonight. We will talk about that here later in the episode. Bucs defeat the Eagles 33-16. Let's talk about the two other games. Let's talk about Sunday Night Football and discuss what happened there. Definitely wrong about this game. Was kind of shocked, if you want to be real, shocked about everything when it came to this game. I picked the Bills to beat the Ravens. I thought the Bills were going to run away with it a little bit late at the end, but I was totally wrong about this game. Final score was 35-10. The Ravens dominated the Bills at home, 35-10, and it was all thanks to the ground game. I would say now, if you want to include first in this ranking, you can. Number one, number two currently in rushing offense in the National Football League are the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, they run the ball effectively. They're really, honestly, last year, the best running team in the NFL, looking to be on pace to being the best running team in this season's NFL year. So let's talk about the Ravens, and let's talk about what happened. How about Derrick Henry being an absolute menace to the Bills defense? Let's talk about that, because Derrick Henry played amazing. He almost had 200-plus yards on the ground. He had 199 yards, 24 carries, a touchdown, 199 yards. He averaged 8.3 yards per carry. 8.3 yards per carry. That's amazing. Derrick Henry, absolute menace. Lamar Jackson ran the ball well as well. 54 yards, a touchdown for him as well. Lamar Jackson also passed the ball well. 13 for 18, 156 yards and 2 touchdowns. Very efficient day on a very balanced offense for the Baltimore Ravens in this game. Part of the third quarter, the Baltimore Ravens came out flat, but then they ended up picking their pace back up and playing a more of a complete game than the other 3 games that they played, the other 3 or 4 games that they played this season. So if you want to look at this game, they looked really, really good in this game. So 4th game of the season, coming along a lot better now, ran the ball well. Let's look at the team stats. They also one time of possession by 3 minutes, 31 minutes compared to their 28 the Bills' 28 minutes. They averaged 7.9 yards per play compared to their 4.1. 271 rushing yards on the ground. If you're going to run for 271 plus total yards on the ground, it's a recipe for disaster for the other team, right? 81 rushing yards there. They beat them in passing yards by 1 yard, 156 yards compared to their 155. The only thing that I would clean up about the Ravens is the penalties. You got to clean up the penalties. 8 penalties for 79 yards. The Ravens have to quit getting penalized so much. Play better disciplined football. The O-line finally came together. They blocked the run. They ran the ball all over this defense. They just didn't have an answer, and the Bills defense didn't have an answer to stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson running the football. Not only that, they threw the ball well. They ran their RPOs quite well, and their RPOs were killing the Bills all night. Zay Flowers had a good game as well. They were very efficient on third down. 22 first downs at least. They allowed 1 sack. They protected Lamar really well. They only had 1 turnover. It was really, really good for the Baltimore Ravens and a good night for the Ravens, especially on the ground, but the penalties is what kind of kills them, right? The penalties are what gets the Baltimore Ravens. I think they need to clean up the penalties. I think they need to just slow down on just the basic mental errors, and then everything will be, good from there on out. So, I mean, that's really all I got, really. If the Baltimore Ravens keep playing the way they're playing, they're on pace to still being that team to probably knock off the Chiefs within the postseason, maybe. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if they minimize the penalties, keep letting their O-line get together, run the ball like that. Who's going to stop them? Defensively, who's going to stop them? They need to form the best running game plan against the Chiefs defense and tire out the Chiefs defense, and then there you go. That's how you could have been. They almost beat the Chiefs week 1, so that could be the team to beat in the AFC against the Chiefs if need be. But final score of this game was 35-10. Let's go over to the Bills really quick before we move over to the Monday Night Football game and then move on to the Pigskin Frenzy NFL injury report. So let's talk about the Bills and let's talk about what happened here. Turnover was a costly turnover because it was late in the game. I wouldn't say they had a bunch of turnovers, Josh Allen's been doing really, really good at turning the ball over. But he got hit. He got hit late, and it proved costly, especially with the way they were running the football. 3 sacks allowed. They allowed 3 sacks. The Ravens' defensive line was all over him, especially Roquan Smith. He had himself a heck of a game. They just really could not stop them defensively. They really couldn't win on third down a whole lot. They couldn't win on a lot of plays against their defense. And not only that, the Bills' defense could not stop their running attack. Their rushing attack is what tired them out. It's what drained the clock. It's really what made the Ravens tick, and they didn't have an answer for Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson running the ball. They ran the ball so well on them, it's not even funny. They were averaging 7.9 yards per play. That's a lot of yards per play as you keep going and stretching and going down the field. If you go down the field for 7.9 yards per play, it's likely going to end up in points. And I think the Bills just could not really just stop that. They had a tough time. And I think the problem, as I drop my pen, of course, Joel drops his pen here. What a shock on Pigskin Frenzy. But as the Bills were trying to stop the run, they would tack on. They would stop them a little bit, and then they would tack on more. Kept going back more with more and more and more. And finally, they were just like, I give up. I can't stop them. I just cannot do it. It's a tiring out process to try to slow down that running game, and they just couldn't stop it. That's the main reason why the Bills lost this football game. It was and I said this, effectively run the football. That was one of the keys for the Baltimore Ravens in this football game, and the Bills needed to find a way to slow down that run game. They did not slow down that run game. Ball game, match point goes to Baltimore. That's really all you have to say about this game. I think the Bills are going to be fine. They just got to find a way to stop the running game of the Ravens if they play him again in the postseason or wherever they play him next. Final score of this game was 35-10. Ravens defeat the Bills. Bills, coming up Sunday, have the Texans. 1 Eastern, noon Central kickoff. Bills, they got to go to Houston and play the Texans. The Ravens have the Bengals. 1 Eastern, noon Central. They got to go to the Jungle and play the Bengals in an AFC North divisional game. I hope the Bengals are ready, because if the Ravens come out playing like that, that's going to be a tough day at the office, maybe. So let's see how they do in AFC divisional play. Ravens 35, Bills 10. Ravens go to 2-2. Bills go to 3-1. Let's move on to the last game of the week for recap, and let's talk about the Lions and the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. Let's talk about this game. Then we'll go to the Pigskin Frenzy NFL injury report. We'll go to the news around the league with the trade request, all that stuff, and then we'll go to the preview and predictions for Week 5's top matchups. Let's talk about the Lions. Let's talk about the Seahawks, and let's discuss what happened on Monday Night Football. How about Jared Goff's elite? And he is elite in a way that a lot of people have been kind of hating on him, saying, oh, he's not this guy. He's not that dude. He's not the team that could lead this team to a championship or to a conference championship game appearance. Well, he did that last year, but he is still that guy. He is just proving people wrong time after time after time again. He had a perfect game. He broke the single game completion rate in a single game. He broke Drew Brees' record. 100% completion rate. 18 for 18 was Jared Goff. Perfect game. No one will probably match it, obviously, because it was 100%. So, final score of this game was 42-29. Lions defeated the Seahawks. I was wrong about this. 0-4 this week. What a shock. I said it again. But final score, 42 Lions, 29 Seahawks. Let's talk about what the Lions did. The Seahawks have played really well up to this point, and they're still going to play well, I believe. And they played well against the Lions, too. But the Lions were just more physical, and Jared Goff could not be denied. They had an answer to deplete that second defense, second national ranked defense in the NFL. They had a way to do it, and his name was Jared Goff. Jared Goff. I mean, unbelievable. Literally 100%. 18 for 18, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns. By the way, he also had a receiving touchdown. He had 3 total touchdowns, two passing, 1 reception. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a touchdown pass to Jared Goff in a trick play. Unbelievable by the Lions. Coming up with that. They look cool in their black jerseys with the blue helmets. Looked awesome. They ran the ball well. Jahmyr Gibbs had 2 touchdowns with 78 yards. David Montgomery had a touchdown with 40 yards on the ground. They looked good overall, right? The Lions looked fantastic. Let's go to their team stats if you want to. 389 total yards. Seahawks outgained them 516 to their 389, but it was the poise that they showed. I think it was the poise that they showed. I think penalties were very costly in this. I think what it came down to in the end, because in a lot of areas, in the majority areas, the Seahawks on paper beat the Lions. But if you want to look at it like this, who stopped them? Who stopped them the most? The Lions ended up stopping the Seahawks more than the Seahawks stopped the Lions. The Seahawks stopped them once or twice. The Lions stopped them 3 or 4 times. And that's what killed the Seahawks' momentum. That's why the Lions kept capitalizing on it every time. Capitalization and stopping them on going 3 and out and stopping them on drives. Drive killers is what hurt the Seahawks in this game, and is what the Lions did. The Lions outscored and capitalized on those drive killers and won the game that way. Jared Goff, like I said, complete, and the running game was complete as well. The defense played really, really well. Aiden Hutchinson on the zone, the defensive line was pressuring Geno Smith, and they got to him a lot. Played really, really well. They turned the ball over twice. Jared Goff and the Lions had a clean football game. The only thing that they need to clean up is the penalties. 12 penalties for 101 yards. That's very undisciplined football. They need to clean that up, because down the stretch is what's going to cost them games. They need to clean and minimize the penalties up fast. Clean those up and you'll be A-okay. 12 penalties, 101 yards, unacceptable. Do not penalize. It's one of the keys that almost could have cost them, but it didn't. On paper, the Lions lost, technically, quote-unquote, besides the yards per play, but the drive killers and capitalization and Jared Goff's perfect game was too hard to be denied for the Lions in this one. Final score is 42-29. The Lions defeated the Seahawks. Let's talk about the Seahawks really quick. There's nothing really else to say about the Lions. They're just that good. It's hard to bet against them, really. It really is. I shouldn't have bet against them probably to begin with because of how good Jared Goff is. The Seahawks are still good, though, ladies and gentlemen. They're still a good team, and they proved that Monday night. They really did. They had 516 total yards, 383 passing, 133 on the ground. Kenneth Walker came back, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. They look good running the football, didn't they? Kenneth Walker, something about him, he can just, he's a very patient back. He's patient. He sees an opening, boom, takes off. Really patient back. I'm very enjoy watching Kenneth Walker run the football. I think he's one of the underrated backs in the conference. But if you look at the Seahawks leading the division still, there's no pressure there. They look good moving and pacing the ball and moving everything out. So they look good. They look really, really good. I think the penalties are what hurt them, and the turnovers and the drive killers are what hurt them in this game, really. It's really about who stops who the most, and the Seahawks did not stop the Lions enough, and I think that's what cost them the game. Turnovers, penalties, eight penalties for 70 yards, not the best. don't do that in a game. That's not good. But you also turn the ball over twice, and they stopped you more than you stopped them. And I think that's really what cost Geno Smith and this offense. Defense played very physical. It was a very physical game up front for both teams. I just think that the Lions had more of the advantage in stopping the Seahawks and the Seahawks stopping the Lions. It's really all this game was about. They went back and forth. In the end, Lions stopped the Seahawks the most. And that's what this was really about. That's all you really got to say. Nothing else said. They both played a really good game. It was back and forth. Jared Goff just had a 100% completion rate. He could not be denied. I'm still in awe about that, especially what we saw a week ago from Jaden Daniels, completing 91.4% of his passes. Unfreaking believable. Jared Goff is a top-tier quarterback in this league. Final score, 42-29. The Lions defeat the Seahawks. Really, that's really all I got, and that's really the Week 4 recap for the NFL season, recapping all these games that we covered. Jared Goff, takeaways, Jared Goff is still a top 10 quarterback. You need to quit hating on that man. I'm telling you, you need to quit hating on Jared Goff. Solid quarterback, solid player. Quit hating on him. One of the best in the NFC currently now. That is the Week 4 recap, and that is what we got for Week 4. Let's move on to the Pigskin Frenzy NFL injury report before we move on to the latest news around the league and the Week 5 preview and predictions, the top matchups for Week 5, and to conclude this episode, this jam-packed episode of Pigskin Frenzy. I hope everyone's doing okay today. 30 minutes into the show, let's talk about everything going on. Let's just talk and let's discuss the who's in and who's out on the Pigskin Frenzy injury report. A lot of good injuries. We're going to go over it here. Kicking off with the Patriots out of Foxborough. Patriots center David Andrews could miss the season with a shoulder injury. However, he is trying to see if he can play through it. Tough break there for David Andrews, big-time center for Jacoby Brissett, and big-time playmaker on the offensive line. Going to be tough. It's going to be hard to play through shoulder injuries. I have been going to PT because I actually tore my labrum, even though I'm not in a sling or anything like that. I tore my labrum, didn't need surgery, but just going through that is rough. And going through it while playing a contact sport like football is rough. We're going to have to see if he'll be able to play through it. We don't know yet, but thoughts and prayers are with him. Hopefully he gets better soon and he's able to work out everything to play soon. Big news out of Kansas City. This happened during the Los Angeles Chargers game this past Sunday. The Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice injured his knee versus the Chargers. They are concerned that it might be a torn ACL and he could be done for the year, but we'll go for further testing and for a second opinion. But right now, it is not looking good for Rashee Rice and the Chiefs. Now, that offense is built around Rashee Rice in some plays. It's a huge loss for that offense, a tough blow for that offense. Let's see if he gets further evaluation, further opinion. He most likely will be out versus the Saints coming up Monday. Obviously, hopefully he's okay, and thoughts and prayers are with him. Tough break for Rashee Rice and a huge loss for the Kansas City Chiefs. Especially trying to chase a three-peat. They're undefeated right now, but huge part of their offense takes a blow because he's a very big key, and he's been kind of the number one receiver in the NFL in terms of a lot of things early on in the season. So tough break there for Rashee Rice. Thoughts and prayers are with him. Hopefully everything's okay with him. If we have any more updates on him, we will let everybody know on social media and on the podcast. Latest news on Christian McCaffrey. He is back from Germany after, seeing a specialist there. He has Achilles tendonitis in both legs. New report there. They're seeing other options on when he can return. Some say early November. Some say it may be later. Some say he may not even play. It's hard to tell, but tendonitis in both legs is really, really bad from both Achilles. Tough break there for Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers. Thoughts and prayers are with him. Hopefully he gets better soon. Tough break there. We're praying for him, and hopefully he heals really, really soon. Cowboys defensive end Micah Parsons most likely will miss Sunday night versus the Steelers due to a sprained ankle he suffered against the Giants last Thursday. Tough break there. The Cowboys already not doing so hot on defense right now. They lose their best player on defense defense, and tough break there. They lose two of their best of the two top edge rushers on their defense, and it kind of weakens their defense a little bit. DeMarcus Lawrence is now on IR and will miss 4 games due to a foot injury. So DeMarcus Lawrence out, Micah Parsons out as well. Tough break for the Cowboys and their defense. Thoughts and prayers are with both of them, and hopefully they get better soon and heal up quite fast. The Cowboys are going to need them in the stretch that they're going to go on during the season. Tough break for both of those guys there and for the Dallas Cowboys. Giants wide receiver Malik Nabers is questionable Sunday, but is in good spirits following his concussion that he suffered against the Cowboys last week. Thoughts and prayers are with him. Hopefully he goes okay, and hopefully he is back sooner rather than later. Tough hit that he took this past Sunday, or this past Thursday with the Cowboys. Some good news and some optimistic news out of Cleveland. Browns running back Nick Chubb is practicing again, and he's hoping to return soon following the devastating knee injury last season. Oh no, if we can get Nick Chubb back at full strength, it's going to change the complexion of that offense. Hands down, running the football is a key thing for the Browns. They need it, and they need it with Nick Chubb. Hopefully Nick Chubb's 100%. He's ready to go, and he can practice again, and he is okay, and everything's going good for him. He is almost back to the field. Good on Nick Chubb and the Browns for securing him back again. Nick Chubb about to be back on the field. Thoughts and prayers are still with him as he's still recovering, but he is almost back to the field, which is very good news for the league and for Nick Chubb and the Cleveland Browns. So, Broncos running back Tyler Batty is questionable following back injury versus the Jets. However, he is feeling good and he has movement in his body and is in good spirits. So good news for Tyler Batty. He's back with the team. Everything's good following a scary back injury, but he's questionable Sunday to play after that back injury versus the Jets. So thoughts and prayers are with him. Hopefully he's going to recover well, and he's back on the field in no time. Texans running back Joe Mixon is considered day-to-day with his ankle injury, and it's questionable Sunday versus the Bills. He missed the last 2 games due to that ankle injury, but he's on the right track to play Sunday. We'll see how he does. But right now, he is day-to-day, and it's questionable Sunday versus the Bills. We'll see if we have any updates on him as we continue throughout the coming days. So thoughts and prayers with Joe Mixon, and hopefully he heals and he's ready to play Sunday. Last but not least, on the Pigskin Frenzy NFL injury report, before we talk about some big news out of the NFL right now, Vikings tight end TJ Hawkinson could return as soon as Week 7 versus the Lions. So that is a good news for TJ Hawkinson. He's back. He's expected to practice Friday. Tomorrow he is could return as soon as Week 7 versus the Lions. He is on the mend. He had an ACL tear last year. Thoughts and prayers with him during his recovery, and hopefully he is back as soon as we can. He can play. Good news out of the Minnesota, and good news for TJ Hawkinson, so he can return this season and play for an offense that's already dynamic with Sam Darnold, undefeated currently in the season and number 1 in the NFC North, and currently probably the top team in the NFC right now with Sam Darnold playing really lights out ball for the Minnesota Vikings. Thoughts and prayers with everybody on this Pigskin Frenzy NFL injury report. Hopefully everybody's okay and everybody is good and goes good, coming up off the report, and everybody's recovery is good, and everybody's returning to the field soon. That was the Pigskin Frenzy NFL injury report. Let's talk about what's going on in the league news really quick before we preview and predict the top matchups of Week 5. Let's discuss this right quick and discuss what's going on in the league, because it is big. It is huge. And this has been going on probably since a year and a half. And this dates back to a year and a half. So let's rewind the clock, go back a year and a half, and let's talk about the Raiders of Davante Adams. Everybody would keep on saying, oh, no, he's not going to get traded. He's with the Raiders. He was unhappy there for a little bit, but then he got back happy. I'm a Raider, for crying out loud. I am a Raider. Everyone was like, oh, he's there. He's still there. Everything's going to be good. He's there. Oh, but, we're looking to trade him. No, we're not going to trade him. Finally, it's all come to a head after a year and a half. There has been some rumors about, they're open for business on trades. I saw a report on that the Raiders were open for discussion for a Davante Adams trade. And then news broke that it is official. Davante Adams has officially requested a trade from the Las Vegas Raiders. He wants out of Las Vegas Raiders as soon as possible. That is news reported out of The Athletic, ESPN, NFL Network, all things that are covering it, all credible sources. He wants out of Las Vegas. Who are the favorites to land him? Let's talk about some favorites. Cowboys said that they wanted him, but then they said that they didn't. So let's just talk. We'll talk about the Cowboys. That's nothing. The Browns are inquiring about a trade with Davante Adams. And right now, the most favorite, and the one that I kind of expected that immediately come to my mind was just like that. Just the snap of the fingers. The Jets. New York Jets, obviously. Aaron Rodgers. He played with Aaron Rodgers throughout his first half of his career in Green Bay. And, Davante Adams' career first part of his career at Green Bay, when he was at Green Bay. Davante Adams trying to have a reunion with Aaron Rodgers in New York. Maybe they can get a deal done before the trade deadline happens, but I don't know. Davante Adams, that could be a good part of the deal. But right now, the Raiders are not rushing any trade, but Adams wants out ASAP. The Jets are considered favorites, and as odds makers would call it, favorites to land him. It's the Jets and the Browns at this point is all I've been hearing. Steelers, I've been hearing rumors about the Pittsburgh Steelers landing him. We'll see about that as well. But the Jets is what came to my mind because of reunion with Aaron Rodgers. And they need some help, right? I mean, Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson are solid playmakers, but you also need that veteran receiver that can lift up Garrett Wilson. Not only that, but also help out Garrett Wilson in coverage and give Garrett Wilson some open looks too, and that's Davante Adams in green and white. So I think that him in New York would be awesome. It'd be kind of interesting case scenario for Davante Adams to go there. My thoughts on it are this: it's been a long time coming. I thought, honestly, I really thought in my head that he was going to get traded last year, honestly, because they've been going back and forth on it. But he's not. They kept him around. Everything's good, but all the rumors of him being unhappy, and just kind of reached a boiling point, and I think it became positive. It just became true. This is what you call speaking things into being. And if you speak things into being, oh, he's not happy there. He's not happy there. He's not happy there. Well, yeah, he's not happy there. Of course he's not going to be happy there. You keep saying he's not happy there. Then it starts coming to reality. He starts becoming unhappy with himself being there. So, of course, if you speak things into being, he's not going to be happy there. I think the situation at quarterback, not only with Gardner Minshew, but the management, the ownership, the coaching, everything there, it's just not where I think he wants to be right now. I think he wants to be a part of a team that can try to contend for a Super Bowl or is an actual contender for a Super Bowl. And I think that the Jets can be a possibility and be on the verge of teetering to being a contender for the Super Bowl. So that's where he would want to be with Aaron Rodgers as well. So those are my honest thoughts on everything. Now, what do the Raiders want for him? They want an additional compensation and a second-round draft pick. So that's some pretty high asking price for Davante Adams because he's still amongst the elite in NFL at receiving. So I think that is kind of right on what you would want for an asking price for Davante Adams. They set the price. I think people are willing to get that and offer that to the Raiders. And maybe, just maybe, they can get an additional pick out of it, and hopefully they can get some good draft picks out of it and get some good movement out of it as well. So it works out for all sides, and it works out for all, everything, especially for Davante leaving Las Vegas. That's my honest thoughts on it. I know that's pretty quick about it. That's all I really have to say about it, but that's really all I got on it, honestly. I mean, there's really nothing else to talk about other than that he's going to get traded, and it's going to happen. He's unlikely to play Sunday versus the Broncos due to that hamstring injury he has, and the trade request. Of course he's not going to play. So he's likely out versus the Broncos this coming up Sunday as well. So let's see. We'll give you some more updates on see where Davante Adams is going to go and some news on the situation, give you latest updates on everything as it develops and as it continues to unfold. So big news out of the league. This could shake up the league, honestly, in a lot of ways. So let's see what happens coming up here soon with Davante Adams. But week 5 preview and predictions. Let's preview these top matchups, and then we'll conclude today's episode of Pigskin Frenzy. Let's talk about the first matchup, and that's tonight. Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. Buccaneers at Falcons. 3-1 Bucks, right? 3-1 Bucks at the 2-2 Falcons. At home field advantage for the Falcons, coming off a big, close win against the Saints. Game-winning field goal with Young Ho Koo. Bucks coming off of a dominant win, bounce-back win against the Eagles. And let's see who can continue that momentum in the NFC South. Divisional play, tough game here for both football teams. Let's talk about the Buccaneers keys here for tonight, and let's discuss what's going to happen here and what needs to happen for victory. So Buccaneers keys are simple. Number one, start off fast. If you start off fast and you look really, really good, like you did against the Eagles, you should be fine and be on the verge of winning this ball game. Start off fast, don't let your foot off the pedal, and you just keep on going and keep on scoring. That's what you got to do if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just start off fast. Number two, win the time of possession battle. You did really well in time of possession. Keep Kirk Cousins and Bijan Robinson off the field and get that tire out that defense, win the time of possession battle, drain clock, and score points and win the game that way. 36 minutes against the Eagles. They dominated in time of possession. Keep dominating in time of possession and winning that way. That's a good way to win and good way to just, in the game tonight. Number three, protect the football. Play clean football like you did last week. If you just protect the ball, don't turn the ball over, you should probably end up coming away with a win here on the road. Tough divisional game here for the Bucs. So protect the ball, and let's see what happens. And see what happens there. So those are the keys for the Buccaneers. Let's talk about the Falcons' keys. Minimize the penalties. Let's clean those penalties up. Penalties were kind of rough against the Saints. Keep on slimming down those penalties if you're the Falcons in this game. If you have minimal penalties and play better disciplined football, you should be fine. You should be fine in this game, and you can hold your own. Home field advantage, tough crowd advantage for you, and it's for you guys, so it should be really, really good. Number two, establish that running game. You have to establish running the ball with Bijan Robinson. Tampa Bay right now is currently 22nd in rushing defense in the league. That's not the best for Tampa Bay. They can't really stop the run a whole lot, except for last week because they played really, really well. But on the flip side, Atlanta is currently 22nd in rushing offense in the league, so something's got to give. Something has to give. You've got to establish the run. You've got to pick up some yardage. You got to move that ranking up, and you got to get some good leverage on the ground in this football game. So if you just got to do that, right? So for this game, run the ball well, and you'll be all right. Number three, make stops on third down. Stop them from being efficient on third down. Tampa Bay is tied at 11th currently with KC for third down conversion rate in the league. We're just right outside the top 10. That's pretty solid. So if you can just slow them down on third down, get them to stop, get 3 and outs, and then capitalize on those 3 and outs. You got enough to win this ball game tonight. Those are the keys for the Falcons. Amazon Prime game tonight, Thursday tonight, right here, Amazon Prime. 8:15 Eastern, 7:15 Central kick on Amazon Prime. If you have a subscription, tune in for it. Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit are on the call. It should be a phenomenal game here. Who do I have winning this ball game, man? Who do I have winning this game? I think it's going to be back and forth. I think that right now, between the two teams, the Falcons are going to give it all they have, but I think the Bucs right now are just riding a little bit of a better wave of momentum, talent-wise, on the line of scrimmage. They look really, really good. I like the Bucs in this game over the Falcons on the road, getting a key win. So give me the Bucs, beating the Falcons close. I think the Buccaneers win 21-14. Buccaneers 21, Falcons 14. Falcons go to 2-3. Buccaneers go to 4-1 and take a better hold of that NFC South division early on. So Buccaneers 21, Falcons 14. Bucs get the win tonight on Amazon Prime, and they defeat the Atlanta Falcons 21-14. So Buccaneers get the win. So number dose on the preview and predictions for Week 5 for Pigskin Frenzy matchups. Our first international game. We did of the season at least. I think we did international games last week. I think we did international games, if I'm not correct, or if I'm not mistaken. But anywho, our first game of the international game of the season kicks off this Sunday, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central kick here, at least in the United States. It's on NFL Network in London. Vikings versus Jets. Vikings are 4-0, running a hot wave of momentum, especially in the NFC North. The New York Jets 2-2, coming off of a huge loss against the Broncos, and they need to get a bounce-back win here, especially against a white-hot Vikings team. So, in London, international game, neutral site, the Vikings' keys are pretty simple. Number one, shut down their running game. That's pretty simple. Shut down the running game. Minnesota is currently second in rushing defense in the league. Second. They are solid defending the run against teams this season so far. The Jets, not so good at running the football right now. 27th in rushing offense in the league. They got to find a way to run the football. But if they can just keep that out of momentum, use that to their advantage. The 27th rushing offense in the league, if the Vikings can use that to their momentum, shut down the run, become one-dimensional on offense for the Jets, and it's going to play into your favor. So, number one, shut down their running game. Number two, you got to win the line of scrimmage battle. You got to be more physical than they are, up front on both sides of the ball. If you are, Sam Darnold can have a field day, have another breakout game, and score points, and everything will be A-okay for Minnesota. Number three, don't let your foot off the gas. You started off really hot against the Packers. Packers came back late. The Vikings ended up winning that game, but it was close. You pumped your foot off the brakes in the second half. 4 quarters, full 60 minutes. Do not let your foot off the gas. If you have your foot on the gas, what do? I said it Tuesday with Alabama when they played against Georgia. You don't ease your foot off the gas and you put it on the brake. You don't pump the brake. When your foot's on the gas, man, in this game, floor it. You floor it. You keep going 100 miles per hour, 130 miles per hour even. You floor it. You floor that Ferrari down the road. You floor it, and you don't let go. Floor it. Don't put your foot off the gas in football. If you have the advantage and you're starting off fast, 4 quarters of football, the Vikings need to floor it. Don't let your foot off the gas, and you got a good victory there. Do not let them come back if you have a good, sizable advantage. Number one for the Jets. Those are the Vikings keys there. Number one for the Jets. Let's talk about the Jets keys. Find a way to establish the run. You're 27th in rushing offense. You got to find a way to run the ball with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. If you find a way to run the ball well, establish that running game, solid. You should have a balanced offense, and you can find a way to sneak a victory there in London. Number two, protect Aaron Rodgers. That's pretty simple. Offensive line did not do a very good job. 5 sacks allowed last game and lost to Denver. 5 sacks allowed in the loss to Denver last week. Protect Aaron Rodgers. Give him some time to throw and make some plays, and everything should be fine for the New York Jets. And number three, Aaron Rodgers has a monster game. He has an Aaron Rodgers classic, if you will. Classic Aaron Rodgers goes off, gets 3 to 4 touchdowns, 300 plus 400 yards passing in the game. Just goes off. Has a breakout performance, an Aaron Rodgers classical performance that we all know that, oh yeah, we'll take the Symphony number 9, Aaron Rodgers number, please. And if you get that fine art going and that symphony tune going, the small violins will start to play. And if the small violins start to play, that means the Jets beat the Vikings. So he has to play really good in this game. Those are the Jets' keys. Those are the Vikings' keys. Who do I got winning this ball game in London? I think the Jets are going to play a little bit better than they did. However, I am not confident in the ball in the ball running ability right now. I think the Vikings have a good rushing defense. I think they've been stopping the run and defending the run really good. I think they're going to hold on to that. I think the Vikings get the win here and go to 5-0, but it's going to be close. I think Aaron Rodgers does enough to keep them in it, and the Jets defense does enough to keep them in it, but I think the Vikings come away with a win. Sam Darnold ends up getting a late score to win the game in London. I think it's going to be a 28-24 win for the Vikings. Vikings 28, Jets 24. Jets go to 2-3. Vikings go to 5-0. 2-3 for the Jets. Vikings go to 5-0. Vikings 28, Jets 24. Give me the Vikings to defeat the Jets and remain undefeated in London. Number 3 on our list, and we got 2 more games to go before we conclude this episode. Cowboys at Steelers. Yes, we're doing another Sunday Night Football game. Of course, because the Sunday Night Football games on NBC have been electric. This one's going to be good too. Cowboys at Steelers. Sunday night, 8:20 Eastern, 7:20 Central kick on NBC. Nationwide, Cowboys at Steelers. 2-2 Cowboys, Steelers 3-1. Steelers are trying to bounce back from a loss from the Colts. Close game there. And Cowboys are trying to, kind of keep some momentum going after that win against the Giants. Tough win there, but a win nonetheless. So, Cowboys keys in this one are going into Pittsburgh. Number one, you got to find a way to run the football. We're going over to running the football again. That's why I'm starting to laugh. We're going over to run the football. Find a way to run the ball. The Dallas Cowboys currently are 32nd in running the football in the National Football League. Number 3 is Pittsburgh. They are ranked 3rd in rushing defense in the league, just behind Minnesota. Go figure, right? Pittsburgh has the 3rd best rushing defense in the league. You are dead last at running the football. If you can run the football and against the 3rd best rushing defense in football, you can find a way to get a win here. But you got to figure out a way to run the football and quit being, and you got to have a balanced offensive attack against this tough defensive team in Pittsburgh. If you can do it, hey, all for you, really, all for you. But you got to find a way to run the ball. They are not good at running the ball right now. They need to find a way to get it going here. What better way to do it than to prove it against the 3rd best rushing defense in the league on Week 5 Sunday Night Football? So find a way to run the ball. Number 2, win on 3rd down. If you can hold them off and not go 3 and out, capitalize by winning on third down and turning it into points, then the Cowboys can get this win and walk away on a tough road victory. Number 3, minimize the penalties. I think if you minimize the penalties and slow down those penalties, then you'll be fine. They've been penalized a lot. They were penalized a lot against the Giants as well. Let's look, if we have it on our notes, to see how much they were penalized last week against the Giants. On our notes, they were 11 for 89 yards, 11 penalties for 89 total yards. You got to clean up those penalties. If you clean up those penalties, everything can be good for you. So clean up those penalties, you will be fine. Number 3 on our list. That was number 3 on our list for the Cowboys keys. Those were the Cowboys keys. Let's move on to the Steelers keys here. Number 1, win the line of scrimmage for the Steelers. Both sides of the ball, pressure Dak Prescott on the defensive line, out physical their O-line, block for Justin Fields. He most likely will start Sunday night. Block for Justin Fields and just, block for him and just, do that. Just block for him. That is number 1, honestly. Number 2, protect the ball. If you protect the football and don't come away with turnovers, you should be fine. I think if you do that, you will be A-okay in this game. Protect the football. Don't turn the ball over. Don't throw picks. Don't fumble. You should be fine. Number 3, be aggressive and take shots downfield. Pitt is currently 22nd in passing offense in the league. And right now, Dallas is currently 20th in passing defense. So their defense right now for the Cowboys is not the best in total defense. They were a solid last year. I don't know what's going on this year. Defense is having some rough issues right now. But this is your chance to take shots down the field, be aggressive, show them, hey, I'm Justin Fields and I don't just run the ball. I take shots downfield and I attack. Stretch the field with your arm, passing the ball, and get it done that way. If you do it and perfect and get some points out of it, you can come up with a win here. Those are the Steelers' keys. Those are the Cowboys' keys. I think it's going to be a back and forth game. Who do I got winning this ball game? I think it will be back and forth. However, while I don't believe right now, I don't believe in the run for the Cowboys, I think it's going to come down to who's the better quarterback. I think Dak's going to be the better quarterback in this game than Justin Fields. I think that Justin Fields is going to run the ball. I think they need to throw the ball a lot better and stretch it down the field. I don't know if they are capable of doing that right now with the core that they got and the play calling they got as we speak right now. It's going to be a close game in Pittsburgh, but I got Dallas coming away with this one and taking this one. You're going to be surprised by that pick because I was leaning towards the Steelers, but give me the Cowboys beating the Steelers close. Cowboys winning this one and going to 3-2. Cowboys 27, Steelers 21. Cowboys 27, Steelers 21. Cowboys defeat the Steelers, and Cowboys win this game on Sunday Night Football and beat the Steelers. Give me the Cowboys defeating the Steelers in this one. Now, I picked the Bucs, I picked the Vikings, and I picked the Cowboys. Let's see if I'm right. Monday Night Football, last but not least, Monday Night Football, before we conclude today's episode of Pigskin Frenzy. Saints 2-2 at Chiefs, who are 4-0 in Arrowhead. Monday Night Football coming up on ESPN. 8:15 Eastern kick, 7:15 Central kick. In Arrowhead in Kansas City, Missouri. Another Chiefs game. you're probably going to think, what are you going to do to stop doing the Chiefs games? Gosh, they're in big-time games. What can I tell you, okay? You got to cover them. They need to let this game not be run by the officials, though. I have an issue with this, and I hope it comes into fruition. No officiating needs to be ruled in this. Saints' keys are pretty simple. Number one, protect the football. Don't turn the ball over. You had two turnovers last week, and they were kind of costly. So don't turn the football over. Protect the football. Have it, and then you should be fine. Number two, force the turnovers. If you can force Mahomes to throw one, maybe two picks, maybe even fumble the football, get some three turnovers out of it, the Saints can capitalize on those drives and win the game that way. So force some turnovers if you can, if you're the New Orleans Saints in this game. It's a loud environment. Force some turnovers to quiet that crowd and capitalize on those turnovers. Number three, win the time of possession battle. You did really, really good against the Falcons in time of possession. Hold on to the football, play a lot better at time of possession, and keep Mahomes and that rest of that Chiefs offense off the field. Keep them off the field. You should be fine if you win the time of possession battle that way. Those are the Saints' keys. Let's talk about the Chiefs' keys here. Number one, utilize rookie wide receiver Xavier Worthy in the offense. I know he's still learning the ropes. He played well against the Chargers. He had a touchdown against the Chargers, to be exact. Rashee Rice is hurt. He most likely will be out. Hopefully, unfortunately, maybe out for the season. Fortunately, hopefully the second opinion says otherwise. Pray for Rashee Rice on that one, but utilize Xavier Worthy. Brown is out for the year as well, so you lost Hollywood Brown. You lost Rashee Rice. Besides Kelsey, who's your go-to? It's got to be Xavier Worthy. Utilize him in the playbook, and if you utilize him and utilize the speedster on sweeps, passes, and everything, you should be A-okay. Utilize Xavier Worthy. Number two, protect the football. You've been having some turnover problems too, Chiefs offense. Mahomes has been throwing some picks. Just calm down on the interceptions. Calm down on turning the football over. Protect the ball, and you will be A-okay. That is number two for the Chiefs team. Number three, last but not least, slow down their offense. New Orleans is currently 9th in the league in total offense. Kansas City's defense is currently 15th in the National Football League. If you find a way to slow down their offense, stop them, get them some 3-and-outs, force some turnovers even. Chris Jones is the mastermind behind all that. Pressure Derek Carr, make him play consistent, bleed the home field advantage into this, and you should slow down their offense, and you should get a victory here on Monday Night Football against the New Orleans Saints. Those are the Chiefs' keys. Those are the Saints' keys. I think it's going to be a closer game than most people realize. I think the Saints are going to give it their all. Who do I have winning this game? Of course, give me the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game and come away with it. I think, realistically, the Mahomes is just going to find a way to get it done. I hope the refs do not get involved in this game, but I think the Chiefs are going to protect the football in this game a little bit more. He's going to play a little bit more consistent. I think it's going to be a better game for Mahomes than most people realize. I think some of the matchups are going to be favorable. I like the Chiefs in this one over the Saints. Close, though. I think the Saints give it their all and play them close. I think it's going to be 27-20 game. Chiefs 27, Saints 20, 7-point game. I think the Chiefs win 27-20. Chiefs defeat the Saints in Arrowhead 27-20. Give me the Chiefs over the Saints on Monday Night Football. Chiefs will go 5-0. Saints will go 2-3 on the season. Chiefs over the Saints. So that just about does it for Pigskin Frenzy. That was my Week 5 preview and predictions. That just about does it for Pigskin Frenzy. A big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some NFL coverage presented by me. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you got to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X, Instagram, and Facebook, just type in Pigskin Frenzy. Follow like the pages there. You're going to get episode updates. You're going to get news and highlights from across college and NFL football. You're going to get trivia questions on Instagram stories. Go and answer today's NFL question, as well as all things up to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, check out the website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. Shout out to the Beard Club, our proud partner of the podcast. We will be back Tuesday with our latest college football edition of Pigskin Frenzy. We'll go over the latest AP poll. We will recap Week 6 of the college football season. We'll recap Week 6, and we will preview and predict Week 7 of the college football season on Tuesday. So until Tuesday in the college football edition of Pigskin Frenzy, I'm Joel Norris signing off. We will see you Tuesday for another edition of Pigskin Frenzy, college football edition of Pigskin Pigskin Frenzy. Enjoy this weekend slate of NFL and college football games. Enjoy tonight's game between the Buccaneers and the Falcons on Prime, 8:15 Eastern, 7:15 Central. Kick on Amazon Prime if you have a Prime subscription, or on NFL Plus, rather. For everybody out there, please and always stay the course.